take us to Fayetteville, and we'd go upstairs to this guy who had a camera.
Oh yeah? What do you remember about what year that was?
Well, I have pictures in my baby book, and one of them, Chiquetta, was a baby. And the other one, she was not a baby, but a toddler, you know.
So where were you born? In Missouri?
Missouri.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't remember it, of course. I only remember Arkansas.
Do you know about when you guys moved to Arkansas?
No, I was a toddler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what brought you guys out to Arkansas?
Well, that's where they were from. Mom and Dad. They were born there.
How did you end up in... How did they end up in Missouri?
Well, they got married, and Dad wanted a better job. He was beginning to be a vagabond. So he went up there, and he was a shoe salesman.
In Missouri?
Missouri. Mm-hmm. They were young, you know.
Yeah.
I think he was 20 and Mom was 19.
Oh, okay. And you were their second born?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second born.
And then you guys moved back to Arkansas. And where did you live in Arkansas?
In Elkins.
Elkins.
That's where Granny lived, and that's where it's a little town. You've been there.
Yeah.
But that's where they lived after they came from the farm.
Okay.
And then I remember my great-grandfather, mean old grandpa, and he was bedridden. The house had 2 bedrooms, and he had the first bedroom. And he was 96, I think.
And he was pretty cranky?
Pearl, get her out of here!
That's what he'd say when you'd go in the room?
Well, I came to the room, and he had hands like me, and I would go like this, and see the skin would stand up, and I thought that, wow, what's his ass? And so I would stand there and do that, and he had to be spoon-fed even. You know, she went in there and spoon-fed him. Pearl, get her out of here! So then, after he died, we moved to Fayetteville. I think Granny needed an income because she lost his in pension, you know. So she cleaned houses. Of course, she never learned to drive, and she would have to take the city bus to get wherever she was going.
And then so was your grandpa, was he buried up on Pinnacle Mountain, or?
No, he's buried at McCord, and that's about 5 or 6 miles up there. If you go through Elkins, you just keep going on the highway, and he's buried up there.
And then, so you guys moved into Elkins.
No, we always lived in Elkins. And then I think Dad was a taxi cab driver, and kept having all these kids and all that. And so he needed to earn a better living, so somebody convinced him to learn to be a plumber. So he learned to be a plumber. So then we moved to Fayetteville. And also Granny, like I said, lost me and old Grandpa's pension, and so she needed to go to work, and she didn't drive. She needed the bus system to get around, and she cleaned houses. Yeah, and so that's why we moved to Fayetteville.
Oh, okay. And then is that where your dad learned to be a plumber in Fayetteville?
Yeah, learned to be a plumber. Joined the union, and a vagabond he became.
And then, so who all was born out there in Fayetteville? Like Jaquetta and Joe.
I was born in Missouri. Jaquetta was born in Fayetteville. I guess they all were, except for Jay. Jay was born in Omaha, Nebraska, because at that time Dad was a plumber and we were moving all over.
Wherever there was work.
Wherever, when he got tired of working on one thing, not that it was finished, he just felt like moving, and that would be every 3 to 6 months. It was all right. I got to see a lot of people and hear a lot of accents, so it was a good experience for me.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And I always, some schools were behind in what they were teaching, some schools were ahead, and some schools were just right where I was. But wherever they were ahead, I caught up real fast.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, you've moved a few times in your life. You probably know the feeling.
Yeah.
Are we going to take my picture?
Well, I'm recording what you're saying.
Oh, no. I'm on camera? I thought I thought it was a still picture.
Did I tell a white lie? It is a camera.
It is a camera, but it's like I said, the old-fashioned ones, the complicated ones.
Yeah.
Professional.
Yeah.
Mom's in the movies. She didn't know it.
Maybe Mitzi will come over and help you.
Mitzi, come here.
She can't see you.
It'd be nice if she'd stand up on her hind legs. Did you take a movie of your dad?
A few, yes.
Just on his tractor with his big hat on?
No, I talked to him over there. So when did you go to school on Pinnacle Mountain? Do you remember what grade? Or did you ever go to school there?
No, my mom went to school, Mom and Dad.
Oh, so they lived up on Pinnacle.
Yeah, Mom did.
Do you recall how they met?
Well, back then, they used to have, through the church, the social thing, and it was called the singing. And you would go to, to sing. And I think they met at one of those functions. And of course, to court Mom, Dad would walk, for 3 or 4 miles.
Yeah.
I guess that's why it only took them a little bit of time to get married. Yeah.
Do you know how long they knew each other before they got married?
I think it was 3 months. 6 months. I don't remember. I'll have to ask Jaquetta again.
Okay.
It was me that only knew your dad 3 months.
Yeah. So then you guys would just go up to Pinnacle when you were a kid just to visit?
Yeah. Because Grandpa Davenport lived there.
And that's your mom's dad?
My mom's dad, yeah.
So is that the house that she grew up in, the one that he lived in?
I think they built that when she was maybe a preteen or a teenager. Before that, they lived down by the river, White River, in like a log house. That's what they told me. And when they showed me where it was, of course, the house was gone. But that's how you built your house, you just went out and chopped logs.
Yeah.
Plenty of trees, so plenty of logs.
So you could build as big a house as you wanted, as long as you chopped enough logs.
Right. But where my mom grew up, I think it only had 3 bedrooms. Or 2. No, there was one to the back off the kitchen. But 9 kids. Whew.
Wow. So she has 8 siblings?
She had, yeah.
So you had a lot of aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I think I have 3 that are still alive. One of my aunts was, she's still around, is 2 years older than me.
Oh.
And then there was the last boy, he was like a year or 2 years younger than me. Well, he died, I think in his late 20s, because in an accident. He was a terrible driver.
Oh.
Killed himself.
That's too bad.
Jerry. So anyway.
So do you remember any stories with you when you guys were kids? Like with you and your brothers and sisters going to the store or going on road trips or anything like that?
Well, yeah, but one doesn't pop in my mind right now.
And then how old were you when you guys moved out to Orange County?
I was, I think, in 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade. You know, a preteen.
Yeah, so you're about 12.
Yeah.
And you moved to Garden Grove?
Well, first we lived, the first house we lived in was, I think, Yorba Linda. And that's in Orange County, when they had orange groves.
Yeah.
And then we'd go back to Arkansas to live, and then we'd go somewhere else to live, to Florida, and I've lived in Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Nebraska, Oklahoma, of course Arkansas, and so I think after second or third trip to California, like I said, my mom put her foot down and she said, "We ain't moving anymore, Charlie. These kids have got to go to school." So then he would, like I said, go to the union hall and get a work order and go somewhere else to work for a few months and then come home. But anyway.
And then, so you went to high school in Garden Grove.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what type of jobs did you have when you were in high school? What was your first job, do you remember?
I worked at, what was the name of it? Started to say Lorenzo's, but that's our Mexican restaurant here. But it started with an L. It was a donut shop. So I worked from 6 till 9, I think it was. I didn't like it because when it got dark, I was there by myself.
Did you ever make donuts, or you just sold them?
Sold them. So I got fired because I didn't like to be by myself, as I said. And there weren't that many customers, and so when it got to be closing time, I went out the back door. I think I turned off some lights, got in my car, and left. I forgot to close the serving windows, because people was a walk up and they would walk up into these windows. The serving windows, I forgot to get the cash drawer out and put it in the back. So there went that job.
And then what did you do after that?
Oh, donut shop, I've forgotten. Because I think I was going to Fullerton Junior College.
Weren't you a check processor for B of A?
Huh?
When did you do check processing for B of A?
Oh, that was after I married your dad.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, during this, for a summer job, I was going to the junior college, Fullerton Junior College. And so, in order to support my car and gasoline and all that stuff, I got a job in the summer at State Farm Insurance as a file clerk. So then I would go to school at nighttime. So.
And that was when you were going to Fullerton Junior College?
Yeah. And then I transferred to Cal State Fullerton, a brand new college, and they only had one building. And it was about 3 stories, and all the classrooms were on first floor through third, and the library was in the basement. So now it has a big campus and all that.
Yeah.
And that's where I got picked up by Daryl.
then you guys got married, and then you lived in your first house in San Juan Capistrano, right?
Yeah, first we had an apartment there
In
in Capistrano Beach. Yeah. Your dad was a tile setter. So he was tiling these little houses right by the freeway. They had widened the freeway. Looked like a shoebox. They had 2 bathrooms. So he used some of his lifelong savings. I think it's a couple thousand, if that, 1,500. When we bought the house, that was our first house. Got us started.
And how do you like living there?
Oh, it was fun because, like I said, your dad was setting tile during the day, during a living, and so he put tile in for me in the kitchen. So that was nice. Plus, he liked the beach, and I liked to look at sunsets and all that stuff. Instead of Orange County, you know, where it's more crowded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's where Brian came along.
Yep. I've forgotten how long we'd lived there before he was born. I think a couple of years. But then, of course, the construction industry was seasonal, you know, real busy in the summer, but in cold weather, rainy weather, not so much. And so finally, your grandfather, your dad's dad, said, "Daryl, you're married, you're gonna have a family, go find a good job, like at one of the utilities." So your dad applied at the phone company and was there forever. It was a good job.
Yeah.
So then we moved to, after the phone company job, he got hired, we moved to Fullerton. So that's my life story.
And then you got transferred down to La Mesa, or how did you end up in San Diego?
Well, from Fullerton, yeah, he got promoted, and said the job's in San Diego. So then from Fullerton we went to San Diego area, La Mesa. And then do you want the whole spiel?
Sure.
If I can remember.
I think it was Escondido after that.
No. From Fullerton to Danville, and then down to Poway.
You mean from La Mesa to Danville?
Yeah.
La Mesa, Danville.
Yeah. So we'd go back and forth.
Yeah. La Mesa, Danville, Poway, and then what? Escondido. No, I think Escondido was before.
Escondido is Poway.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. He worked in Escondido. We lived in Poway.
Oh, but we lived in that condo before the house.
Right.
Okay. When we were in Escondido, it was around Halloween, and I saw these two gorillas. And they came over and they were jumping around. I started crying. So I was only 6 years old. And they took their heads off to let me know that they were humans.
Then did you really get frightened because they beheaded themselves?
No. They just tried to make me feel better. And then when I stopped crying, I was...
Yeah. So anyway, we ended up here, not moving anymore.
Well, Loomis is a nice place to be.
Yeah. Well, it's getting chilly,
Yes.
and your dad's off the tractor. I don't know what we're doing.
I think we're going to eat. Do you want to say goodbye?
Bye.
And that was an interview with my mom, Joan Geraldine Manser, on October 6th, 2014, which is a Monday, October 6th, 2014. And I am Eric Manser, her youngest son. Signing off. Goodbye.